The upsets continued in week 5. Who's on upset alert in week 6? We're going to go through our 8 picks here in this video. If you go back to last week, I did have Colorado UCF. I had that in the video. And again, we pick 8 games that we think are most likely to be upsets. To be an upset, the spread has to be 4 points or more. And normally there are 2 of the 8 games that turn out to be upsets. That's been the average for years and years and years. Last week was actually a low week, though. That was the only one of the 8 games, but we missed Kentucky Ole Miss. That was not in the video. That was really not on my radar, but it should have been, because it was, obviously it happened, and that was a huge upset. So hats off to Kentucky pulling off the upset there in Oxford. Could we see another big upset? I think we probably will. I think we're going to see a big upset in the SEC this week. I don't know which one it's going to be, but I think we could see a double-digit underdog win, or at least a touchdown underdog win this week. And we've got a couple of SEC games here in the video. So again, these are the 8 games that are most likely to be upsets. In my opinion, these are the games where teams should be on upset alert. Doesn't mean that you're definitely going to see an upset in these 8 games. Again, average is usually 2 of the 8 games because we're looking for the bigger upsets. But we'll see if we get, I think we probably will get at least 2 this week. I feel like that's going to happen. So let's jump right in. Going from the least likely to most likely upset, in my opinion, we'll start with Tennessee, Arkansas. And I don't know why that says, why the time says TBD. This game is going to be at 7:30 Eastern time on, I thought ABC. I think this got switched to ABC. Florida State, Clemson got switched to ESPN. I'm not sure what's going on there. These graphics come from Yahoo, so I think they maybe just haven't updated that. But yeah, Tennessee's favored by 13.5 points. So for Tennessee, I think we feel like this is a very solid team, but we don't know just how good they are. Are they an elite team? Are they a playoff or a national championship caliber team? I think they're definitely a playoff caliber team with a 12-team playoff, but it's going to be tough for them, I think, going on the road into Fayetteville. This is an Arkansas team that's already battle-tested. They played a lot of close games, a lot of tough games. They're 3-2, but I think they've got, you look at Oklahoma State, they should have won that game. They were the better team in that game. They played better most of the game. Look at the game against really both their losses. Look at Texas A&M. That was a pretty close game. So Arkansas is not a bad team, and if you're looking for a big upset, this could be it. This could be your Kentucky Ole Miss this week. But I like Tennessee. I think playing on the road, that's going to be a test. But they've already played at Oklahoma, so I'm leaning Tennessee here. I'm not saying they're going to lose, but I think they're definitely on upset alert. We got Iowa, Ohio State next. This game's at 3:30 Eastern time on CBS. Ohio State's favored by 19.5 points. Pretty big spread. We got 2 good defenses, though, and that's the key here. I think you're going to see a lower scoring game, and the over-under is only 44.5, so that tells you that Vegas, they kind of think the same thing. So it's probably a lower scoring game. If Iowa can get some plays on defense, a pick 6 or a special teams touchdown, something like that, they absolutely have a shot in this game. I think that spread's actually a little bit high. I'd probably put it closer to maybe 13, 14 points. But Iowa has an improved offense this year. I think we've seen that. We've seen them be inconsistent. Like one half of football, they play terrible. The next half, they play great. If we get that great Iowa team that we've seen, and they play that way all 4 quarters, I think they've got a real shot in this game. Ohio State has not been tested yet. This is really their first test, so we'll see if they're up to the challenge. I think that they are, but again, I think that this game could be closer than that spread for sure. Next, we've got Ole Miss, South Carolina, 3:30 Eastern time on ESPN. Of course, just last week we saw the big upset with Ole Miss going down to Kentucky. Could they do it again? 2 weeks in a row, potentially. South Carolina beat Kentucky. Don't forget about that. And it's a South Carolina team that you just don't want to play. I mean, they've got a good defense. They're going to run the football. They've got some injury concerns, so we'll see how that shakes out. If South Carolina is fully healthy in this game, I think they've got a real shot to pull off an upset. Ole Miss, I don't know what's going on with them right now, but they couldn't handle that physical defense of Kentucky. I think South Carolina is going to be a very similar defense. And I think that this game could definitely be a close one and could, again, potentially be an upset. Spread's not quite double digits here. Ole Miss favored by 9.5. This game's on 3:30 Eastern time on ESPN, and I think this potentially could be an upset. And if Ole Miss loses this game, I think they're probably pretty much out of that playoff conversation. All right, next we got Miami Cal. This one is late night, 10:30 Eastern time on ESPN. Miami favored by 10 in this one. So you got a couple of things here. Miami, the scare against Virginia Tech, is that going to impact them here in this game? Are they going to, is that going to cause them to lose some confidence, or is it going to make them more focused for this game? Like that's going to be psychologically one of the things to watch here in this game. Cal's not a bad team. They really should have beat Florida State if they made their field goals in that game. Remember, they went on the road and beat Auburn. They're not a good team, but they're not terrible, and they've got a capable quarterback that can make some plays. It's a late night game in California, so this is just one that's kind of sneaky here. I think Miami clearly is a better team, much better team than Cal, but upsets happen. The better team doesn't always win, and I think this one could possibly be a huge upset. Game Day's going there, by the way, so that. I don't know why Game Day's going there. That would not have been my pick, but they are. Anyways, we got Rutgers, Nebraska next. This one's at 4 o'clock Eastern time on FS1. Nebraska favored by 7. Rutgers has been pretty solid this year. Monangai at running back, that dude is a beast. I watched him in the last game, some of the runs he made. I mean, he is really good. They've got a 1-2 punch at running back. They've got a good defense. Passing the ball, that might be a weakness for them again this year. But a solid defense, a good run game. Nebraska's kind of similar, of course, with Dylan Raiola. That's kind of helping them to get a little bit more in the passing game, and they're more of a threat there. But the thing with Nebraska is close games. We've seen it over the years. They can't seem to win those close games. Remember, when they beat Colorado, that game wasn't close. So if this game is close, I mean, would you give the edge to Rutgers? Maybe. I don't know. I think Nebraska really needs to jump in there early and kind of take control of this game, because if not, we could see an upset here for sure. Next, we got Duke and Georgia Tech at 8 o'clock Eastern time. On the ACC network, Georgia Tech favored by 7.5 points. Yellow Jackets have had a couple of tough losses, but this is still a solid team. Duke, on the other hand, they've been finding ways to win close games, and their defense has been solid. Malik Murphy, inconsistent, but he's made some plays. This is a chance for Duke to get ranked. I think if they win this game, there is a legitimate chance we see the Blue Devils in the top 25 next week. So this is a big game for them, huge opportunity for them. They've definitely been a surprise team this year. But Georgia Tech, it feels like they're the better team. They're playing at home. But I could really see this one going either way. This is almost a toss-up for me. So, yeah, absolutely put Georgia Tech on upset alert. Next, we've got Syracuse at UNLV. This one's at 9 o'clock Eastern time. UNL on Friday night, by the way. Friday night game. UNLV's favored by 6.5. They lose their quarterback with all that drama. You think maybe they're going to slip up against Fresno State. No, they played great last week. But you wonder if that was one of those games where it's, you kind of rally the troops there. You've got some adversity. Everybody, steps up. They play a great game. Is that the case last week? Or are they going to be able to keep this going moving forward? That's going to be a big question mark for them. Syracuse is not a bad team. This is a solid team. They're not great, but they're not horrible, and they're capable of beating a team like UNLV. So to me, this is another toss-up. This is a game that could go either way. So definitely put UNLV on upset alert here. Surprisingly enough, yeah, UNLV favored over a Power 4 team. And then finally, SMU Louisville. This one's at 12 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN. SMU's offense has been playing fantastic. This team is rolling. Kind of forgot about SMU after the loss to BYU, and now it turns out, hey, BYU's a good football team. So SMU's good. They're a good team. I consider them for the top 25 this week. Louisville had their chances to get to Notre Dame, but how do they bounce back after that disappointing loss? That'll be the question mark for them. But this is definitely another one of those toss-up type games. I think you've got 3 games that the spread's pretty big, but I could really see them going either way, toss-up type games. And again, this is another one with SMU and Louisville. So those are the games that I think, or the teams that I think should be on upset alert in Week 6. Would love to get your thoughts. Let me know who you think should be on upset alert down in the comments below.